Okay, I think we're good to go. So, let's start. Okay. Namaskara. Welcome to day 5 of our 9 minutes with the Navadurgas series. So today is the day of Skandamata, the mother of the god of war. And who else to talk about on this day than Jijabai? So I am not going to continue for very long. I will just hand it over to Shama because, uh, you know, this Jijabai is somebody that, yeah, she's so fascinating that we really need to spend a little more time talking about her specifically. So over to you, Shama.
Thanks, Tilottama. A very happy Sharanavaratri to each one of you. Like how Tilottama has already said, today is Skandamata. A very interesting fact about Skandamata. Now, Parvati has both Skanda and Ganapati. It's not that, the mother of Ganapati is no less valorous. Definitely she is. But they chose, or rather, when it comes to the valor part of it, or, the word Skandamata has been chosen, Shanmukha. And if we go by the birth of Shanmukha, there were 6 children who were born, and Shiva, Parvati says, you know what, I want all the 6 children into one. And then Shiva literally, uses his powers, and all the valor of these 6 children is put into one child with 6 faces, and hence he's become Shanmukha. But the power, the strength is into 6. One person into 6. And therefore, today is the day of Skandamata. So whenever we speak about Mata, the motherhood, of course, she is, will remain, has been, irrespective of whether we acknowledge, we know, we don't know about it, she has been the mother. But today specifically, we call her as Skandamata, the mother of, valor. Jijabai has been a perfect fit insofar as Skandamata is concerned. Born in 1598 AD, Jijabai, she was born in the Yadava Kulas. I mean, they're generally called as the Jadhavas in the Maharashtra region. So she belongs to that clan, and she was the daughter of Lakhoji Raje Jadhav. Born in the Vidarbha region, that is in Devagiri. She's been, the state at that time, 1598, was one such that the Muslims were taking over, the Mughals were taking over, and for every smallest aspect, as in, we keep speaking about decolonization and that India has been subjected to a different kind of thinking, not just from the influx of the British, but from before, the Semitic religions. One of the ways that the society had started thinking differently can be seen when we read Jijamata's, and when we read about Jijamata, because it was a time when the Mughals wanted to be a part of everyday life of the society. To the extent that whether a puja had to be performed by A Pandita or B Pandita was getting decided by a Mughal ruler. I mean, that was the kind of clash the society was facing, and the society had quite become, what should I say, habituated of the fact that all of these small things will have to be decided by him. So they would take these disputes to him, and he, a nobody, in fact, somebody who has no idea about our culture, about our understanding, he would sit and decide what puja will happen where. That was the kind of state. And Jija, being a small girl, was actually amazed by it. She's like, why is he deciding? And the way he used to treat the Mughal, would treat the, the Hindu Kshatriyas, the Brahmanas, the Vaishyas, and the Shudras, was whenever they were they were interested, he would just pick up women. They would just pick up women and then take them away. And Jijamata, or at least one specific website that I was going through about Jijamata, specifically said that many of these clans, including the Kshatriyas, did not want to indulge in a fight with them. So they would go bribe the lower rung Mughals and get their wives. This was the kind of, this was the state of affairs that we were talking about. And this really affected Jija. She said, come on, I mean, this is not how it's supposed to be. We are supposed to be ruling ourselves. Why is this person? In the meanwhile, on one hand, you had that Mughal coming and oppressing you people. On the other hand, you had different clans of, amongst the Hindus itself, we had different clans which were having disputes among themselves, saying who should be performing what ritual. So Jijamata said, this is not how it needs to be. First, we need to get united. We need to throw these people out. That was a very clear thought that she had. So as a young girl, she had studied all the scriptures. She was a warrior herself. She knew horse riding. She knew how to use the weapons. So she was an amazing administrator, a thinker, and a visionary. She got married to Shahaji Raje. Shahaji Raje Bhosle was one of the most valorous persons of that time, and he was one of the very greatest samantas of the Adil Shahis at that time. So it so happened, after her marriage with Shahaji, there was some festival that came up, and in that festival one of the elephants lost its control. And because the elephant lost its control, people were trying to shoot some arrows at it and then bring it under control. But however, that got miscommunicated between the Bhosles and the Jadhavs. A war broke out, a very small battle. I shouldn't use the word war there. A small battle broke out, wherein Lakhoji Raje, that is her father on one end, and Shahaji Raje on the other end. So they suddenly became staunch enemies. The Jadhavs and the Bhosles suddenly became staunch enemies. Jijabai chose to remain with the Bhosles. She sided her husband at that point of time. So for very many years, her parents, that is Lakhoji Raje, did not have any contact with Jijabai at all because of the differences between the two clans. Then it so happened that Nizam, who obviously wanted to take the best advantage of this, decided that he's going to send Lakhoji Raje to capture Shahaji. So he sends Lakhoji Raje, and then at that point of time, Shahaji escapes. He goes, and then because Jijabai is already carrying and she has, she is pregnant, he keeps her in another place along with his friends, in his friend's family, who was the doctor himself. And that was in Shivaneri Fort. So Lakhoji Raje comes and meets her in Shivaneri Fort. That's when, Jijabai asks, you know what? The Bhosles and the Jadhavs should not be fighting against each other. If at all we should be fighting the Mughals. If we decide to unite, then obviously they stand no chance. So this Asmita of the Marathi Asmita has to be brought back. It convinces Lakhoji Raje. So he meets, Shahaji, and then they understand each other and decide that they are going to collaborate. Obviously, Nizam, this did not go unnoticed by the Nizam. And like usual practices that the Mughals and the Nizams and the Adil Shahis did, he called Lakhoji Raje and his three brothers, who went there unarmed because it was sort of a simple talk that was supposed to happen, and Nizam killed them, as usual. So this really annoyed Jijamata. That's when she said, you know what, these people are not worth the belief, Then fast forward, I mean, her first child was Sambhaji. After that, she lost very many children, and then it is said that she always used to think of the country. She just wanted to Maharashtra from the Mughals, the Nizams, and the Adil Shahis. So she wanted that Haindavi Swaraj again. She used to dream of Ramarajya. So apparently she used to always pray to Ma Bhavani, saying, and I repeat this, um, she used to pray. Always I've heard that she used to pray for a son who was capable of it. But then there was one place where it was written, and quite an authentic place of course. It says she used to either pray for a son of, like Rama, who was able to destroy, or a daughter like Durga, who would, set the entire Haindavi Swaraj back. So considering Jijamata, I would think she would have either prayed for a son or a daughter, but a very valorous one, of course. So 1627, Shivaji was born. Then she took him to Pune. Of course, she had to raise him all by herself because Shaji was busy with various other battles and everything. So he was not usually available. And so in Pune, she was responsible for restoring many temples. She was a warrior herself. She knew horse riding, like I said. So she did the basic teaching to Shivaji herself. She did all the basic teaching. This Sambhaji, that is her first son, was killed by Afzal Khan. So next time when Afzal Khan called, Shivaji for a truce talk, she knew that this person was not to be believed. So what happened was, in fact, various administrators or the mantris, the ministers of Shivaji actually advised him, don't go to Afzal Khan. But she said, you know what, go to Afzal Khan. Kill him. Let's finish it for, once and for all. So then the question was, okay, that's when we hear that wonderful story of how Shivaji went with Vyaghranaka, that is the nails of the tiger. And then when Afzal Khan wanted to, he actually hugged him and wanted to stab him from behind, Shivaji already had the Vyaghranaka with him and he slit him out. So this is one of the stories which is very it's a recorded history, which is quite famous. Most of us would have heard about it. I will not deal much with it. So, but the point is, she was the one who advised them. Now comes the administration part of it. Shivaji, she always said, we of course know the story that whenever she used to bring, during the upbringing of Shivaji, she told them Ramayana, Mahabharata, taught him all the scriptures, and then subsequently she always told him, she used to show him all the forts and say, you're supposed to capture these forts. Now I'll speak about the administration part of it. We also know that Shivaji got captured. Shivaji got captured during that Panhala fort, and then when Panhala fort was captured, Shivaji was captured for almost about 4 to 8 months. Nearly 8 months he was not there. During that time, it is Jijamata who actually took care of the entire administration of the entire administration of that Maratha empire at that point was taken care of by Jijamata. Now, subsequently, what happened? During that time, she has discharged the duties of a judge. Also, what these warriors, or rather these, these Nizams, the Adil Shahis, the Mughals, the British, and the Portuguese at that point of time decided, come on, it is a lady, let us go ahead and attack. So all through the 8 months, she has had continuous battles with all of them, ensured that all of them lose the battles. That part, she has also captured about she's completed entire 4 forts at that time and ensured that all the forts were intact. This is the administrative capability of Jijamata, which most of us don't get to hear because she's Skandamata and Skanda takes all the credit. I mean, rightly so. Absolutely no complaints about it. But at the same time, the Mata behind the Skanda, apart from being the Mata, has also discharged it herself and has been the, should I call her, the role model, the actual role model right in front of Shivaji saying, this is how it needs to be done. That's an interesting part. There was a battle between the Marathas and the Rajputs, both of them Hindus from different empires, both of them equally valorous, equally patriotic, and amazing people. During the time, Shivaji, during the Treaty of Purandhara, had to give up 23 forts and very many territories in that treaty. Everybody in the Maratha kingdom were considering that to be a failure on the side of Shivaji. But then Jijamata said, you know what? They are our people. We are dreaming of Hindavi Swaraj. And Hindavi Swaraj is not going to happen only with the Marathas, it's going to happen with all of them. If by this treaty you are able to throw out the Mughals, then this treaty is still a victory of ours, because it is not about the Maratha Empire, it is about the Hindavi Ramarajya that we were going to have. And therefore, I think this is the that's when she applauds herself as a mother, saying, you know what, I have the right administrator, I have built the right administrator in you. Thankfully, you did not go ahead and fight against them. Instead, you decided to fill out a treaty. So this is the strategic acumen that the lady had with respect to building that empire that she, always dreamt of. Next, let's look at the forethought or the farsightedness of this lady. To her grandchildren, Shivaji, she spoke about, she has taught Ramayana and Mahabharata. To her grandson, Sambhaji, she taught Urdu and Persian. And she said, you know what, at this point of time, I need somebody who knows Urdu and Persian so that the strategy of the other side is known. So, this, of course, she could have taught the same Ramayana and Mahabharata and said, you know what, this is us, let's be this. No, but she also said, know the other end, know the other side. And we know, I mean, we have seen Chava and we know what kind of a ruler or a valor Sambhaji became the end of the day. But the grandmother decided to teach him Urdu and Persian so that he understands the way the other side thinks. And that is most important in order to build our own, Hindavi Swaraj. 1674, Shivaji becomes the Chhatrapati. He is coronated as the Chhatrapati. 12 days after coronation, Jijamata passes away. She dies, but then she leaves a huge legacy of motherhood behind us and leaves an entire responsibility of how to discharge the motherhood, not just by, being in the background, but taking the forefront when required and discharging all the duties with absolute courage and strength. So this is Jijamata, this is Skandamata for you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shama. That was incredible. A lot of things one absolutely had no idea about. And, the thing you're saying that she'd been thinking about it right from when she was a little child, that actually makes sense because if you look at a lot of, Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj's actions, there was always this deep strategy, deep thinking, which cannot have happened at the spur of the moment. It must have been something that, happened over a long time. So, it's I'm sure there was a lot of there were a lot of discussions between him and his mother, and the inspiration and motivation that she provided, we owe her a lot. So are you there or have I lost you in this thing? Okay, I think you've got cut off. So all right, so I think we will stop today. Thank you very much for joining us, and we will be back tomorrow with on the day of the Devi Katyayani. Thank you. Bye.